Okay, now I'll take you through these two items, connections and map folders. So we were talking about the integration tool, right?
Right.
So to establish integration tool with the communication with the system, first we need to have connections. Okay, so for this system to communicate with the API or database, we have already its system. Kronos will create your default connections here. What you need to do is like we need to note it down. Like this particular each system will have SQL like server database or a Oracle database, whatever is used by the organization. Mostly it will be SQL, and also in the integration manager which communicates with them. So that's what we call it as API. So for both of them, like for once we are doing an initial implementation, we need to put those details here in the Kronos. So what database we are using, and here there will be options. Here they have chosen custom, so they will give it directly here itself. They are using SQL Server only, but they have chosen custom, and they are directly putting the details directly here. So they will give the URL and what is the driver they are using and username password. For mostly the username would be this is for the DB. Password would be different for each. So we need to have this here only then this system will automatically communicate with DB. So what happens is in the backend, Kronos has around 60, 70 base tables. So SQL tables are available in Kronos. So each Kronos comes up with a server and a database, and then integration tools and other things are optional. They can be used, they cannot be used, but these items comes with that. So the whatever we do here, we are making a change in the setup, right? That will be stored in one table. We are like adding a punch to an employee that will be stored in one table. Like that, there are 70 to 200 tables available in Kronos. We can create more if needed, but each item is stored in one table. Like example, let me show. I cannot show the table, but I'll show you an example. So if you see here, see there are like say database table to locate employee logons. So there will be a table which will note all the logins and logoffs of employees. Similarly, there will be a data like table to check what are the like people tab, whatever the changes is happen. I can show you the table. I'm looking for a document where what are the fields is there. Okay, let's start with this. There is a page, like this is the base table for Kronos. There will be E for each Kronos instance for whoever is using. There will be a person table. There will be a like a punch import table. What is the person table means? Whoever is in the Kronos, they will be loaded to database with all the people details. Whatever you have will be coming as a each column in the DB. Okay. Similarly, for each like say whatever the setups approvals we are creating, there will be a separate table accrual profile, what policy attached to it, what are the everything. They will have a separate row, and for accrual codes there will be a table. So for each item there will be a database in the background. So how we are establishing that connection is through this. So once this connection is created, and we can test it also whether the communication is there. Testing connection is succeeded. So the system is currently communicating with the DB. So whatever the changes we make, the database will be updated automatically.
Mhm.
So whatever the changes we do is stored somewhere in the database. The changes we do, the new creations, the deletion activity, everything is recorded in a DB. What we are doing, that log is also recorded when we are doing it. There are different tables like that. So this is where the connections is established. Through this connection, it will go. Similarly for the integration. So this is the default integration. Like we use workforce integration manager, right? So here we give the password, username, password. Like this communication is established, and then in the integration manager application also we need to give the same. So this and that can be communicated. So these are like the network, how we are communicating with the system from different parties, like database, like interface integrations. So this is where we define those connections. Okay. And then
See, in the server, we didn't have any like a database connection. Where what are the things that we are creating or we are changing something? Where that data is going to be stored?
it will go into base tables, but we will not be able to see it. We don't have permissions to read or write. Yeah, only for whoever is maintaining the, like, once you work as a Kronos, like this is a test instance, right? They will not give access to
Mm.
TV. So if you are in a project and like you are an experienced resource, you will have read and write access. If you are a new resource, they will give read access to the DB. So I'll probably try to give you try to give you the document. There is a proper documentation. What are the tables? What rows will be there, and what is that type? The proper SQL details will be there. I'm trying to find that only. That will be helpful for you. Let me see. Okay, geez.
When we are a purely functional consultant, only the configuration part will be doing, and the separate resources are there like for the integration part and all, right?
Mostly it will be there. Like I am working like a shared resource. Like both will be doing. There will be separate roles also, but there will be people who are doing both also. Mostly,
The kind of
if it is a big team, they will have dedicated resources. If it is a small
okay,
team, people will be cross working on both items.
okay, like the techno-functional kind of role.
Yeah, but it's good to know both things. Like, and SQL, for this you need pure SQL integration. It's not a big thing to learn, but you should have a
Hmm.
very good knowledge on SQL.
Okay, okay.
I mean, what about time implementation? Like, if we have the Kronos Central, that should cover everything, right?
Yeah, time implementation means like that's what Kronos is about.
Yeah,
Kronos implementation is time implementation.
yeah. That basically defines what Kronos is all about, right?
Yeah, time management implementation is what Kronos is about. What we are doing, whatever we are doing
Because
here is time implementation. Like what Kiran is asking is about uh, Kronos will help you in implementation. Okay. But after that, if there are any external integration needed,
yeah,
they
yeah,
will give some basic integrations. But apart from that, there most companies go with the customization. They will have a number of integration. They need to have different types of data like pulled and loaded, and they need to view it. As well
that's
as they
true.
will, yeah, they will connect DB and get a few more data. So in those cases, integration manager is needed. Integration manager can communicate with the Kronos, and also can communicate with the DB. From here, it can pull data and load it in the system itself. Some other model can pull data and it can load it within the system itself. It can load from the third party, from here to third party. All these things happen. So for that,
So, so,
yeah,
so let's say if we have like some accrual profile or something already created for like one project, right? So
yeah.
now I get another project similar to this, and I know their requirement or conditions are similar to this. Can I like load what I have to the new project to minimize the time or something like that?
Depends on the if you are working for the same company, then we need not to do anything. We can duplicate and create it in that instance itself. We need not to migrate. If you are using the same Kronos, there is a requirement
Okay.
to create a new integration which is similar to the other one. We can duplicate and make the changes. If you are using this instance and you want to move that integration out to another instance, then it depends like whether they have that confidentiality to not move what they have to the other third party system. We will not be able to doing it. If you are a service partner, if you are working for two clients, you cannot
Mm-hmm.
take one integration and copy it to other. Maybe you can see the logic and do it separately there. That's different. But you cannot
Okay.
download and upload it to the other client system. There is
Got it.
there is an option to do it, but the companies will flag it as a violation.
Right. So a lot of the time, like, I mean, I was just like looking into like what companies are hiring, and majority of them are like right now they're saying like time implementation consultant. That's like the title.
A time implementation consultant is like Kronos consultant.
Yeah. So
What
that's
happens is,
basically Kronos, right?
it's Kronos, and maybe they might be using some other tools as well, but majorly what is used is Kronos. Okay,
Yeah.
and in that, the majority of the role, whatever we are doing is covered up within the system. So
Right.
the integration and the database connection, which is these are the two items which are outside this. Integration is like along with the database. Only that part we will not be able to cover within the system. Okay, so for that role, there will be specific job opportunities like integration consultant. They will put it like that itself. Some places,
Specific.
most places they will look for functional consultant, and in some places they will look like both. They who has both knowledge. Right now, what is happening is Kronos is doing majority of the integration work. During the initial
Right.
implementation, they are getting the draft and doing the majority of the integration work. And after that, maybe they might be slightly customizing the existing integration, that they might have an internal consultant to do it, or also some companies directly go with Kronos itself. Again, integration is different for different suits. For Workforce Integration Manager is purely for WFC. This suit, Workforce Central, which we are using. The dimension which you and Kiran are talking about, right? They use a completely different tool for integration, Delboomi. They use Delboomi for like EKG dimension integration. So even if you know Workforce Central, it's of no use when you apply for an integration consultant for dimension because they use Delboomi. So each suite has a different integration tool. And like it's not like Workforce Integration Manager Delboomi is not just limited to Kronos, it is used across different applications. So here what we have is under data integration, we have mapped folders. So we can have a number of folders created here. It depends on us, but statistically what we will have is Vim in and Vim out. Okay, these are the server paths for that. In the server, under C, under Kronos, under this interface designer, this is the default path for these two folders. Vim and Vim out. These are standard folders which will be available. We need to map it to the system. So during first implementation of Kronos, these folders Kronos will help us to create, or we can do it on our own. Later, if you want to change the path, we can change it out. But these two are core folders in the sense, whatever inbound integration we are using in the Kronos, the file needs to be placed in this. Inbound means we are getting an input file from a third-party system, and we are placing it in our server, and from there our integration picks up the data and loads it into the Kronos. Like person import, we are getting the person details from some other system in a file, and then we are loading it into the application. So those input integration input file needs to be placed in this. Okay. Similarly, there are a number of outbound integrations where we will fetch the data from Kronos and will give it to as an output file to some other third party. Like payroll, we will pull the time data from our Kronos and we'll give it to the payroll. Accrual balances report, we will pull the data from here and we'll give it to some third-party system to do some analysis. So all the output files for the integration which we are running should be directing to the path Vim out. So these two are the standard paths. These are folders actually. This folder is for the input files. This folder is for the output files in Kronos. So why I am taking you this means some companies, they will not give you the server access, but they will give you FTP access just to do these two folders. So you are aware of the FTP accesses, right? These folders alone you can access through a particular URL. You can access the files and whatever folders inside this, you will be able to access through that FTP access. So these two things, they will give you a separate FTP access to put the input file and to take the output file from like when an integration completes.
One question, like the SQL Server is used for to generate the custom reports, right?
Yeah, for custom reports also it's used. Like,
Okay.
yeah, as I said, Kiran, all the data will be stored in DB. Whatever we have in the system will be stored in DB. Directly from DB,
Okay.
there is no, like, directly from Kronos, there is no way we can define some condition and extract it. There are limited
Yes, yes.
conditions, but DB we can play like anything, right? We can give any condition and filter out the desired result based on what columns we want. Everything we can specify, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Custom report is like that only. Like, even if they ask some questions on custom report, what you need to say is, we have a tool for that.
Okay.
Apart from integration, there will be a small tool specifically for reports. Okay. In that, what we need to do is source will be SQL query. So we need to put these columns by filtering, putting these condition, whatever mets that, and joining these tables. This is the final output we need. Okay. We need to type that query. That's it. Once we type the SQL query, then we need to map, okay, which column should map to which column of the report. That's it.
Yeah, but SQL, I'm aware of that. I have an idea of
So,
when I work for him.
yeah, you can confidently mention in your report that like custom reports. Only thing you need to say is there is a tool called SSRS tool. Okay, we use that to create custom reports. What you need to say is, like, we will use that in the like thing. We will just put the source as SQL query, and then we'll get the reports.
Did you say
So,
SSRS report tool?
yeah.
A lot of
You need,
companies use it.
yeah, mostly. Some companies just go with the default reports, but most companies they go with the custom reports also. And there are different ways in that. Some places only Kronos take care of custom report. Some places customer is also eligible to work on the tool.
Okay.
So if you know SQL, you can confidently put that thing. You can put like custom report. It's basically what we do in SQL server. We will put queries and we'll get the results in a rows, and we will get the output right in the SQL server itself. Same thing, we
Yeah.
are printing it in the Excel or PDF. That's what custom report does.
Okay.
It should start with select query. That's the condition, because we are going to display something, right? So it should have a select query. That's the condition. So custom report, it need not to be like, it should be here. There will be separate folders for that. There will be separate reports folders where it will be directly stored. So what we need to do is, for custom reports, I'll just give you a heads up how we are doing it. We will create everything in the SSRS tool, and we will give a file name to that, right? Whatever reports we create, we will give a file name to that. So that file name we need to add here. In common setup, there will be report setup. Okay. In this report setup, there will be different inbuilt reports. When you are creating a custom report, you need to go to custom options. Okay. Here currently nothing is there. You need to click the new, and you need to give the name here. What report name you have created in SSRS, that .rdl. RDL is the extension for report. Okay. Only that you need to give and save it out. These are options which we choose when we are running the report, right? Whether it should be a date and time, like if you're running the report based on some date and time or based on some string, we can define it. Whatever the custom report you create, you need to put the report name here and save it out.
Abhi, sorry, could you show like how do you bring the report? Like, you said to get the report.
Here we don't have SSRS tool, Iman. I can just only give you an idea how it will be. Like example, see, this is the custom reports, nothing is there. I cannot show you anything, but this is how the normal reports would be. We will create a report and we'll just give the file here, file name here. You can see here, right, the report file name, accrual balances and projection
Oh,
dot
yeah.
RDL. So this RDL is what we create in the SSRS report. These are default reports. We cannot do anything, but custom reports, we will create and give a name like this dot RDL, and then we will give our descriptions, and then what will be the default time period. There will be options to choose, but what will be selected at the first, and does it requires hyperfine query? Hyperfine query means to run a report, we can select, right, this option.
The all access.
Let me show you one. Let me log in again. Okay, yeah, it's open. So when we select few employees or some or just normal, I'll directly go to the reports itself. Where is the report? Management department. Reports. So when we select a report, say example, so this report, when we select, there's a option for hyperfine, which operation you are going to run. So these are the items which we will, 1 second. These are the options we will select here, whether it requires hyperfind or not. This one doesn't require hyperfind, but our accrual detail hyperfinds will be enabled because we need hyperfind. Requires hyperfind. So what options are needed? And time period is all. We can change what we need. What time period we need, whether it should be a specific date, that options we can have. And then the format, what format the report is in. So these items we can define here, and limit number of employees. Okay, so this is not enabled. So if it is enabled, it will limit only certain number of employees. We can say this report can run only if there is a only it can run for a maximum range of 100 employees or 1,000 employees. So some places, some companies will be using 10,000, 20,000 employees in single instance. They cannot, but reports, there will be a limitation that maximum 5,000 people only we can pull at a time for certain reports. So in that case, we will enable this remote and give an employee count so that only max, you can run at max for 100 or max for the 1,000, like that. What else we have? And this should be available under what category? In the reports, we have different categories, right? Plus items. What are the categories this particular report should come in? Now for accrual details, they have selected accrual, detail genie, scheduler, and time card. So under these categories, this report will come here. Okay. So that's more or less what we will do for the reports within the application. Creation, everything happens somewhere, and these are all default reports. We won't be creating it. These will be given as a part of implementation. Whatever is available here, these all reports will be given as a part of implementation from Kronos. This is a part of the package during an implementation. Apart from these, they will create certain customized report. Just I need this many columns. I need only these columns. That will come as a part of custom options. Currently, we don't have anything here. If we create anything, we need to give new and enter same like how it was there in that. We need to give the options, then value descriptions, and then save it out. Once it is saved, we can see it under reports. That's how we map the custom report to the system. Now, today, let's see about this org setup. Few items, okay? This organization setup is basically the hierarchy, how the organization is. And also, it is the crucial one which determines the primary labor account. How a primary labor account is. We have 7 values. What these values responds. Like, what is the value of the first one? whether it's a company name or not, what it can accept, what is the value of the second one, what is the third one, what is the fourth one. These items we will define here, and also the structure of how the company is designed. Okay, first let me take you to our jobs and organization map. Okay, so first we can have these many location types and jobs. Location types are area, city, division, facility. Okay, and in the jobs they have, these are created by trainers, so it will be not a proper one like department, reader, IT. These are there, but the important thing here is we need to see the map. This is what what will define the hierarchy, how the company is there. Okay, the company has archive is a default one to delete items. This is the ABC company, and it has a pharma unit. In pharma unit, we have 4 divisions: front desk, medical, north division, and surgical. So in front desk, they will be having central staffing manager, registered nurse, and these are 3 types of jobs available here. People who will be working, and in medical, they will be having these many jobs. And in the north division, again, these many people are working. We can also have more sub nodes, but they have created just a sample one. Maybe we can have under pharma, we can like divide like maybe we can have a before node this pharma, we can have like north region, south region, east region, west region, and under that we can put this pharma and have all these created. So this is just a simple example how the hierarchy would be. We define the hierarchy. Any doubts in this?
No.
It's purely depend on the company. Some companies will have their location at the front node, like country. I mean, usually they will be across 3-4 countries. So first node they will have this country, this and this, or they will have Asia, Pacific, like Americas, like that. And under that they will divide it by country, second node. Then they will divide it by state, then by district, and then jobs. It will go as a 5, 6, 7 nodes like that. Okay, we can have 7 nodes, so we can do it. Here we have just given it as a simple item. Okay, so based on this, we will assign the job. But organization map, like primary labor account, is dependent on these items.
You know how it's named like front desk, surgical, and all that, right?
Yeah.
Is it named from that 7 values from primary labor account?
No.
Or
Labor account is different. This is different. This is primary job, which will be available near to primary account.
okay.
If you go
So
to an employee,
how got it? But how did they create the other like?
that's what I'm showing right now. Once again.
Okay.
So there will be primary job and primary labor account. Here they haven't added any primary job. So, but most companies they will have that also as a hierarchy here based on the primary job. So they will be having what location, these items, whatever we saw in the org structure, that will be coming up here. See, you can directly select it by from the hierarchy. We can choose what work we are doing. Okay, I am the I belong to this pharma company. Under medical division, I am working as a licensed REO, kept as a nurse manager. Some companies will be using it. Okay, so this is also used, but this is not mandatory. But most companies use this to define the hierarchy. And moreover, in dimension, instead of labor account, we will be focusing on only job. In dimension, it's ulta. They need primary job as the mandatory one. UKG dimensions. So this is where we map it out. Labor account where we will be creating is here. Under organization setup, there will be labor levels. So this is where we define what each column is. Okay. For us, first value, LL1 is something they have given Nova group or whatever, I am not sure. Second is they are defining LL2 as this is not how it should be. Let me reaffirm this.
City.
This can be anything. We have given proper 5 values. Like this, mostly one value we can use it for. It's not hierarchy. We can have it in any order. Like one value will define what supervisor he belongs to, what country he belongs to, what state he belongs to. And like some companies in my, like what we have in my company is like we leave last 2 values freely. First 5 values we'll be using just to have the cost center or supervisor number and what department he belongs to. So we can uniquely identify a group of employees. Cost center is again like what are the department he's working. Cost center is like under what are the codes he will be vouchering. So each department will have a separate cost center number. Cost center is more or less department, but we'll define it in this for Kronos as cost center. Means there will be numbers for it. For each department or each sub department, there will be a specific number which uniquely identifies them. That's what we call it as cost center here. This is where we create the primary labor account. Based on this, our labor account will look here. When we click on something to search, now it's like this. And when I save it, that will become different.
So on the labor account, we just have to name it, and there's no other options we have to add or anything.
No, only 7 is
Okay.
maximum. Nothing more than that.
I'm saying that column, I mean 7, right? But then there are other options on the right hand side. Do we have to do anything on that?
Yeah. So that's just a conditions, bro. Whether we what is the minimum length, what is the maximum length, can it override the maximum length? So these are
Okay.
just definitions. So abbreviation, this is the standard which we'll be using. These are label level values: LL1, LL2, LL3, LL7. This is
Yeah.
how we will be using it. This is a mandatory one, but this is the standard format how we will be using same name.
Okay.
This differs from one country to country.
Okay. Yeah.
Have at the max for 7 labor levels. That's it. And we can have 4 or even we can go with 1 labor level also. We can leave 5, 6 as empty. It depends. My company, we have these 2 as empty. We are using one as supervisor, one for cost center, one for the subcommittee which they belong to. We start like we are using it only for our company. So we are starting with which subcommittee they belong to, what department they belong to, who is their supervisor number. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that we will be defining it here, and when we are assigning it, now when we search, it will show us. Okay, it's not getting refreshed. It's taking some time. What this you need to use? Whether in if it is Asia, what we need to choose? Actually, should be region. Someone has named it as Asia because this has all the continents. Under each item, there will be a number of sub items created: finance, food, department. So here I have given like first option LL1 as country. So I can create different countries under LL1 by defining in the labor level entries. Labor level is where we see this. Labor level entries, we can create each labor levels. Now if you see, this is the first labor level which we created. Under this, these are the values which is currently available. We can create new values if needed. Again, the second one, which was Asia, I think mostly it's the continent one which we had. Under this, we have these items: Asia, Australia, India, USA. So for each value, whatever the items we can select, we need to create it first here. Under label, we will see what are the label levels in here. And for each label level, what are the entries we can have? We need to put it in label level entries. This will have all the 7 one. We need to choose what to put for each item. Only these values we can enter in the system. Only these option will be available when you choose here people editor. Only whatever we have created in the label level entries will be available here for us to select. If we go to the second one, we have created only few items. Only those items will be available here. So clear on these 2 items, label levels and label level entries. And also we can define what are the valid label level items. Like we cannot select healthcare and put IT employee in that, right? So if we want to define that, we can define it here. So if example, if we choose as healthcare in the first item, then his company should be only medical. Like that, we can give a condition so that if this option is chosen, he should come into this company, not to finance or food service. Those items we can define, but mostly we will not be using this. We will be leaving it as a blank. Example, here someone has tried the same thing. If they belong to healthcare, they should be working as practical nurses. That's a valid labor. But mostly it will be empty. We need to concentrate on labor level and labor level entries. And for the other one, jobs, this is the area where we create the nodes, jobs and organization map. And again, here I missed to tell you something. We saw the jobs here, right? Like front desk, they are having this many jobs. Here they have these many jobs, right? Where we create these jobs is here. This is the area where we'll be creating the last node, jobs. What is the name of the job and what is the descriptions and so on. So we will be creating it here. And the other items, if we want to create some location or state, we haven't created. If we need it, we can create it here. The issue about this is our map, we cannot play with this. The reason is once you create a new one, we will not be able to delete it. There is no option we can delete it out. Even if you click on delete, it will error out if it is assigned to some employee. So while creation of this, we will be very keen and careful to create it out. Mostly what happens is, this is something, job and organization map is something which can be created through integration and manually. But most places, people go for the manual one if it is a small map, because no mistakes. We can create one like step by step, one by one, and we can create it correctly. If it is a big map and has more and more subdivisions, then they will go for integrations to create it. Right now, we don't have this option to create anything new. Maybe we can add one more division under pharma if you want. We can just maybe create the location. We need to choose what is the location, what department it belongs. Let me see. Here it is totally messed up. I cannot pick what is what. Okay, it is taking it from here area. So org setup only we have these items. So again, organization sets is nothing. So it's just like we will create a new. I'll show you what we do here. We can create like this belongs to. Okay, in this company, this front desk, we have a set name called all front desk employees. We can group them. Okay. So we will have a group stating that all front desk employees, which is based on the map which we have created, all the front desk employees will be there here. Clear? We can use it as a job transfer set, organization group, or this one. What this means you are like yesterday, Kiran, you asked me, right, how we are defining who will be having access to what set of population, right? If a district manager is there, he needs to have access to the whole population, right? In that case, this is where we will defining it, where it is manager role. Yeah, I'll just making manager for some time. So here we can choose it out. So now I have created still not coming up. Let me see here. It's taking some time. Let me create a new one. This is one way. Okay, this is one way we can map it directly to the people tab. The other way, where is the employee group? Now let me refresh it. It's not coming up. Okay. Okay, sorry. Here, if I can choose whatever I have created here, right? So he will be having access to here is where all front desk employees comes up. If I give this here, whoever belongs to that particular hierarchy, he will be having access to all of them. Okay. Again, where is the other one? Some items are not shown. If I give this here, all the front desk employees, whoever I have selected in that hierarchy, will be this employee, this manager will be having access to them. And one more is job transfer set, which is not currently loading out here. Let me refresh again. I'll pick another employee. Yeah. So here we have different items. Right? Organization group, we will map whatever he created, all front desk like this. Or based on the hierarchy, we will map it out. Again, in this employee group, we will have another privilege where we'll be creating similar to that and the job transfer assets. Right now, what we created all NA, right? Sorry, that will also come here. Job transfer. Here, whatever we created as job transfer sets. So that's the difference here. So here, if you can see, others are all organization sets. This is the one which I have created as job transfer set. So once you create it as a job transfer, we need to map it in this position. Job transfer set, it will come as job transfer set here, all in it. Organization group, whatever we have created as organization sets will come here. What is the difference means? This is like we will give access to the employees, whoever is under that divisions. This is like job transfer set. What it does means, even if the employee is working in a transfer to another department, he will still have access to this. Example, I am from A department, Kiran. Okay. Okay. My manager will be different and your manager will be different. But if I am going to work on B department also, my manager will be having access to mine. If I'm getting transferred for a particular 2 or 3 days, my manager can see my data. And again, another way, like if you want to say, I just need access to a particular set of people. Yeah, if you want to have access to only a particular population, not based on hierarchy or other thing, I just need her to have access to whoever is reporting to me. Okay, then as I said, we had this supervisor number right here. We can have add all the supervisors here, and we can select, okay, this is my number. Only these people I should be having visibility to. We can create, or say this employee is a country head. Okay, or he is like a head for whole Australia. If we select Australia and save it here, I'll give like all AUS. Okay. If I select this and save it here, what happens is now I have given him access. You can see in the summary, whoever belongs to this particular, the second value in the primary labor account, whoever has the second value as AUS, this employee, this manager will be having access to. If I message it out like this. Yeah. So here there are set of employees who are having the second value as Australia. All these people, this particular manager will be capable of accessing, viewing, editing, and doing everything. Okay. Clear how we are doing it?
Mhm.
So this is about the employee groups. We can filter out this, these two is based on the primary job. We can give access to set of population based on the primary job. Whoever is working in pharma, this manager will be having access to. Whoever is working in North Division, this manager will be having access to. So these conditions we can create using the org sets and job transfer sets. Again, if you want to create condition based on the primary labor account, we can create it through like either employee role, where it is here, either through the employee group or through the labor level sets. Both will have same thing. Okay. So here we can define condition based on each. Okay, he belongs to this second LL1 value should match this. Those people he will have access to. LL2 matches these, he will be having access to. And again, it's not like only Australia, but say this is a condition. He needs to have all the Australian employee access, as well as whoever is working in this particular cost center, who is working in shipping department. That means that also we can give. So he will have access to all the Australian employees, as well as whoever is working in the 404 cost center. We can add multiple conditions. Okay. Like these things will be little vague to you. So once you get into a Kronos project and start working, right? Like you'll be getting an idea like where we are using it, why we have these items. Once you get to know the live data, you'll have that idea why we are doing this.